Okay, did you know the gaming industry is far bigger than Hollywood and the music industry combined?
I definitely did not. And according to data compiled by Statista, the gaming industry peaked at $193 billion in 2021, which is well ahead of books, film entertainment, and recorded music.
Well, I love this chart breaking down the evolution of the gaming industry in the past 50 years. I used to be a senior finance executive at Bandai Namco, the company that invented Pac-Man in the 80s. Look at the fascinating rise of mobile gaming in the past 15 years. And at this point, mobile makes up more than half of the industry's revenue. 2/3 of Americans play video games, and as you can see, it's primarily on smartphones.
Well, judging by how much my friends and their parents play Candy Crush, that really doesn't surprise me.
So, who is driving most of the revenue in this market? Let's visualize the 10 largest publicly traded companies by gaming revenue. And you'll see that things are about to change quite a bit in 2024 and 2025. So let's get to it. Hey, I'm Bertrand, founder of App Economy Insights.
And I'm Stephanie, AI product leader and creator. All right, so let's start with the 10th largest gaming public company by gaming revenue with Take-Two Interactive.
If you don't know, Take-Two is the company behind the Grand Theft Auto franchise. The IP has generated an astounding $8 billion in revenue in the past decade, primarily through GTA 5.
Yeah, it turns out most people wake up and choose violence. So Take-Two has historically made money primarily from console and PC games driven by its top-tier studio, Rockstar Games, behind GTA, but also other big IPs like Red Dead Redemption and the sports franchise NBA 2K.
In 2022, the company acquired mobile gaming giant Zynga for $13 billion. With Zynga's acquisition, Take-Two has transformed into a mobile gaming giant. The merger comes at a cost, though. The company has been incurring large impairment of its intangible assets in the past few quarters, which means really that the value of some of Zynga's franchises is not as high as initially thought.
Okay, number 9, we have Nintendo. So Nintendo used to be a much larger player in the industry, but the company has actually missed the transition to mobile. Their hardware cycles, distinct from competitors, have seen a mix of home consoles and handhelds sold side by side, like the DS and the Wii in 2007, or the 3DS and the Wii U in 2013. However, since 2017, the Nintendo Switch, a home console and handheld hybrid, has consolidated what used to be 2 separate product lines. So Nintendo is selling less hardware today than it did 15 years ago, which is actually pretty crazy given that the industry size has more than tripled over that time.
To be sure, the Switch has been a success, amplified by the global pandemic. 91% of Nintendo's revenue comes from the Switch hardware and software sales. The company saw its mobile and IP-related revenue more than double earlier this year. You see, Barbenheimer wasn't the only game in town in 2023. The animated adventure based on Mario and Luigi, released in April, delivered $1.4 billion at the box office.
Yeah, I personally loved that movie, and it does seem like that line between gaming and media is going to keep continuing to blur.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of The Last of Us, not just the game, but also the show now. Now, Nintendo's future hinges heavily on the Switch successor. Nintendo's hardware cycles have been hit or miss, so it's hard to know what could happen next. But rumors are for a new console to be released in early 2025.
Next, at number 8, we have Electronic Arts. EA needs no introduction. From its EA Sports label with EA Sports FC, previously FIFA, The Sims, personal favorite, Need for Speed, Madden, Apex Legends, Battlefield, the list goes on.
EA is still primarily a console and PC publisher, with mobile making only about 16% of its overall revenue. However, the company has successfully transitioned to a game-as-a-service model, with 2/3 of its revenue coming from live services, meaning microtransactions and subscriptions.
Now, number 7 is Activision Blizzard. Activision itself is a result of many blockbuster M&A deals like Blizzard in 2008 for $19 billion and Candy Crush maker King Digital in 2015 for $6 billion. And then in October 2023, Microsoft completed its acquisition of Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. And so it will bring franchise franchises like Call of Duty and Diablo to Microsoft Game Pass.
Before we move on to the next category, if you like this video, yes, we are going to ask, smash that subscribe button and like this video.
It may not seem like much, but it really helps our videos be discovered for us to keep bringing you content around tech, business, and investing. Okay, next, number 6, we have Chinese publisher NetEase. Now, if you're like me, you might not be very familiar with NetEase. Most of their gaming revenue comes from mobile in China. They have strong expertise in live services, with most of their revenue coming from free-to-play games.
Next, at number 5, we have Google. This might come as a surprise since Google killed its Stadia project and does not publish video games, but they take a significant cut, roughly 30% of gaming transactions on the Google Play Store, which is reported under Google Other revenue in Alphabet's financials, alongside YouTube Premium subscriptions and hardware revenue from Pixel. This revenue cut is under regulatory scrutiny and could be challenged in the coming years. All right, next at number 4, we have Microsoft. With the inclusion of Activision moving forward, Microsoft will become the 3rd or 2nd largest company by gaming revenue. So how big is gaming for Microsoft before the integration of Activision? Well, about 7% of its overall revenue, and that includes Xbox hardware sales, Game Pass subscriptions, and Microsoft game revenue from royalty from third-party software sales on the platform. Game Pass will get a major boost from the inclusion of new IPs. Microsoft also acquired Bethesda for more than $7 billion in 2021, bringing a massive franchise like The Elder Scrolls under its umbrella.
All right, so now we're getting into the top 3 now, and Apple is next. So similar to Google, Apple collects roughly 30% on gaming transactions on its App Store. And this revenue is part of Apple's services revenue alongside music, fitness, TV, and cloud. Apple also offers a subscription service called Apple Arcade, but we don't have the exact numbers, but I do know they're pushing for it. I just bought an iPhone 15 and guess what? They offer a 3-month subscription, so I'm giving it a try. So number 2 is Japanese giant Sony. Like Microsoft, Sony is more than just gaming, but the game and network division makes up nearly a third of the company's revenue. The company sells hardware with its PlayStation 5. Now, the PS5 just crossed 50 million units sold, roughly twice as much as the Xbox Series. And Sony has the momentum in its favor, with the PS5 outselling the Xbox Series by more than 3 times this holiday season. But watch out for new dynamics as Activision gets integrated and more games get released on Xbox Game Pass on day 1.
Finally, number 1 is the Chinese behemoth Tencent. Tencent is the company behind WeChat and QQ in China, which are giant social platforms with more than 1 billion monthly users. Tencent gaming segment makes up nearly a third of the company's revenue. Over the years, the company invested in Riot Games, the studio behind League of Legends, Fortnite's Epic Games, and Clash of Clans maker Supercell. Both Tencent and NetEase face pressure to expand their influence in the West, as Chinese regulators have limited the amount of time and money kids can spend on video games. Microsoft might get much closer to Tencent as it integrates Activision. And another segment just as big as gaming for Microsoft is its professional social network, LinkedIn. So check out why LinkedIn is having a moment and why you want to keep your eyes on this platform in 2024. See you right there.